A wealthy widow hears from the waiter, "My grandmother wore a necklace just like yours, but the truth that unfolded changed their lives forever." Imagine a quiet evening in a small southern town, where the air carries the scent of magnolias and the wisdom of years gone by. What if a simple necklace, passed down through whispers of the past, held the key to mending a family torn apart by secrets? What if one kind word in a humble diner could bridge generations and heal old heartaches? This is a tale of enduring love, the strength found in forgiveness, and the unexpected ways life brings us back to our roots. Eleanor Thornton sat in the worn leather booth of Magnolia's Diner, a cozy spot off a winding Georgia road where the sweet tea was always strong, the pecan pie homemade, and folks shared stories like old friends. At 72, she was a wealthy widow whose gracious donations had built libraries and community halls across the state. But on this night, she was simply a woman sipping her tea, reflecting on a lifetime of joys and sorrows. Her husband, Robert, had passed 5 years earlier from a sudden illness, leaving her with a grand estate that felt empty and memories that both warmed and wounded her soul. Since then, she'd taken to these quiet drives, finding comfort in places where her fortune faded into the background, and people's lives unfolded with honest simplicity. Magnolia's Diner was one of those havens, nestled among live oaks draped in Spanish moss, drawing locals, travelers, and those seeking a moment's peace. The checkered tablecloths, the soft hum of a jukebox playing old gospel tunes, and the warmth of shared laughter, it all reminded Eleanor of simpler days, before wealth and expectation shaped her path. She didn't visit for the food alone, she came for the gentle reminders that life, with all its twists, still held pockets of grace. Behind the counter, Marcus Jenkins polished glasses, his warm smile hiding the weariness of long hours. At 32, he was a black man with a kind heart, a single father to a spirited 6-year-old boy, and a former musician whose guitar dreams had given way to the steady rhythm of weight shifts. His days in the army band were behind him, replaced by bills, bedtime stories, and the quiet pride of providing for his son, Jamal, whose laughter made every sacrifice worthwhile. Marcus carried his late grandmother's memory close, a delicate gold necklace with an engraved rose pattern, tucked under his shirt on a simple chain. It was all he had left of Rose Jenkins, a woman whose strength had seen her through hard times, but whose life had been marked by unspoken pains. Eleanor caught his eye not for any grandeur, but for the quiet dignity in his step, like someone who'd learned to stand tall amid life's storms. As Marcus approached to refill her tea, his voice was gentle and respectful. "My grandmother wore a necklace just like yours," he said, glancing at the gold pendant resting against her collarbone. The word stopped Eleanor mid-sip. She touched the necklace instinctively, a cherished piece from her youth, etched with a rose to symbolize the blooming love she and Robert had shared. It had a twin, given long ago to someone dear, a token of bonds that time couldn't erase. "Pardon me," she asked, her southern drawl soft but steady. Marcus paused, sensing her surprise. "Your necklace there," he explained, fingering the chain at his neck. "It's identical to the one my grandma treasured. She always said it came from someone who meant the world to her." Eleanor's mind raced back through decades. It couldn't be mere chance, the rose engraving, the antique gold, the echo of a story she'd long buried. "Your grandmother," she said thoughtfully. "What was her name?" "Rose Jenkins," Marcus replied, his tone warm with fondness. "She passed a few years back, but she was the heart of our family." The name stirred a deep memory in Eleanor. Rose, her daughter Amelia's closest friend from their teenage years in the 1970s, a time when societal lines were rigidly drawn, especially across race and class. Amelia and Rose had been inseparable, sharing dreams and secrets in a world that often frowned upon such friendships. But life had pulled them apart: Amelia's unexpected pregnancy, the hushed decisions, and Rose's quiet departure from town amid whispers of hardship. That night, Eleanor couldn't rest. In her elegant hotel suite, she sat by the window, the necklace heavy with questions. Rose Jenkins. The name evoked images of a vibrant young woman with a voice like honey, who had stood by Amelia during her darkest hour. They'd grown up in this very town, where traditions ran deep and promises were sacred. Rose had been resilient, facing poverty and prejudice with grace, but her path had led to struggles that Eleanor had only glimpsed from afar. She recalled the last time she'd seen Rose, at Amelia's wedding in 1978. Rose had been there, her smile genuine but shadowed, pressing a small velvet pouch into Amelia's hands. Inside was the twin necklace, a gold rose pendant, symbolizing their sisterly bond. "So you'll always carry a piece of me," Rose had whispered. Amelia wore it faithfully until her own passing from illness 20 years ago. Eleanor had tried to help Rose over the years, quiet support, letters of encouragement, but distance and secrets had grown between them. Now, Marcus's words cracked open that past, like sunlight through storm clouds. Drawn by an invisible thread, Eleanor returned to the diner the following evening. The place was lively with the clink of dishes and soft chatter, but Marcus was there, moving with his usual ease. When he spotted her, he nodded warmly. "Evening, Same tea." "Couldn't resist," Eleanor replied, her voice light despite the weight in her heart. "That necklace you mentioned, it stayed with me." Marcus touched his chain. "It's my grandma's legacy," he said softly. "She wasn't perfect, but she loved fiercely. Raised me after my folks passed young." Eleanor nodded, her eyes misting. "Tell me more about her, if you don't mind." During a quiet moment in his shift, Marcus sat across from her. He shared tales of Rose, how she'd sung in church choirs with a voice that lifted spirits, how she'd worked tirelessly to build a better life despite barriers, and how, at 19, she'd left town suddenly, returning years later with a baby, Marcus's mother, in tow. The necklace, she'd said, was from a dear friend who'd helped her through a time of great need. Eleanor listened, her heart aching with recognition. She saw echoes of Amelia in Marcus's resilience, the way he spoke of family with quiet reverence. But a deeper truth nagged at her. The necklace wasn't just a keepsake, it was a bridge to the past. Over the next few days, Eleanor pieced together old memories: Amelia's tearful confession one night in 1977, a secret romance with a young man from across town, defying the era's divides, resulting in a child given up for adoption to protect everyone involved. Rose had been the confidant, stepping in to raise the baby as her own when the adoption fell through, sworn to secrecy to shield Amelia from scandal. To confirm her suspicions, Eleanor consulted old family letters and a trusted genealogist friend. Within a week, the pieces aligned. Birth records from 1978 listed Rose as the guardian, but hints pointed to Amelia as the birth mother. A faded letter from Rose to Amelia sealed it: "The boy's yours, dear friend. I'll love him as my own. Forgive the silence, it's for the best." The truth washed over Eleanor like a gentle wave: Marcus was her grandson. She didn't return to the diner immediately, needing time to process the revelation. Anger flickered, at Amelia for the secret, at Rose for the distance, at herself for not seeing sooner. But beneath it lay wonder, a family branch she'd never known, blooming despite the odds. When Eleanor finally went back, the diner glowed under twilight skies. Marcus was clearing tables, his movement steady. "You all right?" he asked, concern in his eyes. Taking a breath, Eleanor invited him to sit. Under the soft lights, their necklaces catching the glow, she shared the story, Amelia's hidden love, Rose's selfless act, the blood tie that bound them. Marcus listened, his face shifting from surprise to quiet emotion. "You're saying—" "I'm your grandson," he whispered, the words heavy with possibility. Eleanor nodded, tears glistening. "I had no idea, Marcus. But now that I do, I want to make it right." Silence fell, thick with years unspoken. Then Marcus stood, stepping outside for air. Eleanor gave him space, knowing truths like this needed time to settle. Weeks turned, and though Marcus kept his distance at first, Eleanor returned faithfully, not to press, but to be present. One rainy afternoon, as gospel music played softly, he approached her table, necklace in hand. "I've thought on it, about Grandma Rose, your daughter, all of it. It's a lot, but I don't want to carry resentment. Life's too short." Eleanor's heart lifted. "What do you want, dear?" "To know you," he said. "Not the wealth or the name, just you. And for Jamal to know his great-grandma." It wasn't instant harmony, but a beginning. In the months that followed, they wove new threads into their family tapestry. Eleanor met Jamal, a boy with Amelia's curious eyes and Rose's joyful spirit. She supported Marcus not with handouts, but as kin, helping with his music dreams, funding scholarships in Rose's name for community youth facing barriers. Marcus shared family recipes and stories, bridging the gaps of time and difference. A year on, Eleanor sat at Magnolia's, no longer alone. Marcus joined her, Jamal coloring nearby, the necklaces symbols of a legacy reclaimed. The diner remained unchanged, but they had transformed, bound by forgiveness, enriched by roots unearthed. In the soft strains of an old hymn, Eleanor felt a profound peace. The secrets of yesterday had given way to tomorrow's blessings, reminding us that family, in all its forms, is life's greatest treasure. As Jamal laughed, drawing a rose for his new grandma, she knew this was the redemption her heart had sought. Subscribe for more stories.